that the plague would have to be actively dispersed if it is to support his theory. This means that humans would have to be actively on the lookout for the uninfected to spread the plague. He adjusts his glasses, and though uncomfortable with this revelation, he says to the class, a symptom of the disease would be for individuals to search for other humans to ensure it's passed on. I suspect that an exchange of fluids would be the most likely vector of transfer. Washington and the rest could barely contain their laughter as the professor continued and said, biting, for example, or other secretary activities that upwards of 1,000 couples will probably be involved with in the nearby vicinity. And with these words, Washington's plans come to fruition, because the next question is asked by Amy, and she questions Nelson to clarify what he's saying. Does he really think that the symptom of his hypothetical plague would be that the infected would try and find other humans and then bite or have intercourse with them? Nelson takes a huge gulp, but then plainly answers Amy, yes, that's exactly what he's saying. But the propagation of the plague isn't limited to biting or intercourse. It can also be propagated through bleeding, spitting, and other such secretary activities. Silence, utter and complete silence, befalls the entire class after these words, and Nelson stands his ground proudly, knowing too well what his students are thinking and how difficult it might be for them to entertain his theory. But he has proof, definite proof, that his theory has merit. Nelson says, I can prove this, and another species, a prehistoric empire which, but his words fall on deaf ears, because despite his promises of a proof, the students have had enough. Many of them smirk as they get up like Tommy, while the others huff in disgust, but all of them unmistakably get up from their seats and start leaving. Washington and Amy do the same, and though Nelson tries to claim again that he has proof, neither Amy nor Washington look back at him. It's only Tommy who has the gall to tell the professor that he has a great World War Z fanfic in the works. Washington then tells us about the rest of the day, how the three of them had brunch together and then went their separate ways. He and Amy went to her room to make love, while Tommy went back to his room all alone. But this is when irony begins to knock on Washington's door, because despite his best efforts, Amy would go on to be Professor Nelson's assistant a few years down the line. She'd go on to tell him more about the professor's theories, and though Washington didn't entertain her or the professor's theories back then, he tells us that he wishes he did, because as he would come to know, the world has very little reason for things to happen, and even less of a reason to explain what happens, because the Washington who is narrating these events to us is the one surviving a world overrun by the cross. We then get a glimpse of Princeton University after the outbreak, the building in shambles, fire breaking out in every corner, and the ground littered with dead bodies, dismembered limbs, and desecrated remains. In this world where blood feeds the ground, where the green succumbs to the red, where depravity beats delusion, Washington survives alongside those who still carry hope, alongside those who still believe in the hope that he offers them, hope in the form of Professor Nelson's theories from back in the day. We then see a group of armed soldiers carefully making their way through the campus and leading Washington to Professor Nelson's office. They quickly break in, and while the men stand guard, Washington starts rummaging through his former professor's belongings. Washington had hoped to find something more, something substantial, but all he finds in Nelson's office were random notes. The men standing guard are growing impatient. They want to know if what Washington claimed and told them had any merit, and though he doesn't have a concrete answer for them now, he regains hope when he stumbles onto one of Nelson's files that is titled Homo Tortor. It recounts the events of 75,000 years ago, events that Nelson would have no way of knowing about, yet here they were in this file, written in his own handwriting, and thus we make the switch and go to the past and see the world through the eyes of our second protagonist, a young man named Lion who lives in the lush grasslands that surround the River Nile. Humans have a tendency to blame someone or something whenever something major or life-changing happens in their lives, and Lion is no different. As he recounts this story to us, we learn that he blames everything on the woman he loved. Her name was Sun, and he blames her because it's her fault that he didn't die that day. He should have. Lion should have died, which would have spared him from all the horrors that were about to come. Back then, you see, just like every young man, Lion was driven by his love for Sun. She was beautiful, unique, one of a kind, and the star of Lion's eyes. He loved her deeply, and knowing how sought after Sun was, Lion knew she wouldn't be impressed so easily, and thus, despite his friends' protests, Lion had convinced them to dig a trap with him for 2 nights straight, and now that the trap was completed, it was time for the big task, but neither of his friends was convinced. This was a huge undertaking just to get between a woman's legs, but to Lion it was worth it. As Lion and his cowering companions sneak out of the grass alongside the Nile, we finally get a glimpse of what they are planning. It is a huge prehistoric freshwater crocodile that the boys are planning to hunt and bring back to their settlement. Lion's inner monologue tells us that he too was scared of this river monster that everyone in their tribe feared. He too realised the absurdity of this task, and yet deep down he knew this would impress
Sun. This is an extra-dimensional space created by a certain Digimon.
His friends
It's
tried to stop
called
Lion
an
all this
Akashic
time by
Black
telling
Door.
him that other girls would be impressed.
Several space-time disturbances have been used to connect this Akashic Black Door to various points in space-time. Your mission is to defeat the Digimon responsible for creating and maintaining this Akashic Black
Lion
Door.
slowly stalks the creature as it bathes in the sun on the riverbank, and as Lion does so, he comes to the realization that he isn't doing this for Sun, but for himself. Hunting the river monster
I'll use a
proves to
feature
him
on your
that he is
device to
worthy of
provide you
her
with
and not
updates
the
as
other way around.
necessary.
He is doing
Good
this for
luck.
himself, and so with this conclusion in mind, Lion leaps out of the grass and stabs the crocodile in the eye with his wooden spear. He then sprints away, and when the creature tries to follow Lion, he ends up falling down into a pit full of spears which ends its life. The plan succeeded, and 2 nights worth of digging finally paid off. The boys stare at the dead creature's body in disbelief, but they would soon come to learn that digging for 2 nights was the easy part of this job. Finishing the monster off once it had fallen onto the spears was the easy part of this job. Carrying it back home, digging it out of the pit in one piece, that was the difficult part, and what came after was the most horrifying feeling that still haunts life to this day, because when the boys finally managed to fish the creature out of the pit, when they finally walked all the way back to their tribe, they didn't receive a warm welcome. They weren't met by the cheers they were hoping for. Lion never saw Sun's smile that he was hoping for, the smile he had worked so hard for, to win her love. Instead, he was met by her severed head,
What's going on?
gouged out eyes, which was currently being flailed around by a hand covered in blood. In any other scenario, Lion would have fallen. Lion would have fought, his blood would have boiled, and his anger would have made him take actions that he would regret later. But Lion knew who was doing the killing as soon as they saw the massacre. All the boys knew who these people were, and instead of anger rising through their chest, they felt fear crawling over their skin. Because these people murdering those they had loved all their lives were no ordinary men. They weren't normal humans, and as soon as the boys made eye contact with them, all of them dumped the crocodile's body on the ground and ran for their lives. Lion sprinted off with all his might, as his narration tells us that his father used to call these people the Blood Men. His father had told Lion about the Blood Men at a young age to prepare him for the worst. He had told Lion what these men did and what they were capable of, which was unfathomable for a young child. Lion had had nightmares about the Blood Men all his life, though he had come to delude himself into believing that they never existed. That delusion, however, had now come to an end, as his feet hit the sand with each leap he took away from them. But the Blood Men had
So this week, Neuron Damon asked us to talk about Mirai Mikaguro and the unique position she holds in the Digimon multiverse. It's perfectly understandable where she came from, because her origins lie in Digimon Decode and Digimon Recode, a game and a remake of it that was never released in English or any language outside of Japanese. This wouldn't be that big a deal, but the remake of it was made by a completely different company, going from PlayStation to Nintendo. Meaning this game, before it got out of Japan, got out of PlayStation, which is a
What
feat.
even are these bubble things? They look easy to pop, but are way tougher than they
Probably
seem.
from well, she was involved in an
What do you
unfortunate accident. It left
Wait,
her body
who are you exactly?
and eventually the life was found over her. The flip side is her
Oh, I
consciousness
see.
survived
So, you're after Parallelmon too, huh? The beam of light that Digimon emits. That absorbent bang. I'd be careful of that if I were you. It can apparently bend the very fabric of space-time. And that's what happened to me. I got caught in the beam and sent here. My name is Kyoko Kuremi, by the way. I guess we'll have to deal with Parallelmon if we ever want to have any hope of returning to our world. It's not like there's anyone else here. What do you say we team up? To start, let's investigate this area together.
And had to send a black or grey one to chase off. But this doesn't answer why the hell she's everywhere. And that's simply, she doesn't have a physical body. She's a purely digital entity at the moment, and she wants to find basically data that will connect her to a body and let her re-enter the human. Because she's completely digital, she can actually traverse universe. And doing so, she manages to go from one world of Decode to the world of Cybersleuth, and also to the world of Destiny. Three otherwise completely unconnected worlds, and also the proving point that Cybersleuth exists within the File Island zone. The one caveat for her is because she has no physical body, she cannot actually go to the human world. So that's why you never see her in a human world, and that's also why a lot of people think that she is just a digital entity, because she's kind of just a physical entity for now. So this week, Iron Damon asked us to talk about Mirai Mikagura and the unique position she holds in the Digimon multiverse. It's perfectly understandable to not know about where she came from, because her origin by Digimon and Rico, a game and a remake of it that was never released in English or any language outside of Japanese. This wouldn't be that big a deal, but the remake of it was made by a completely different company going from PlayStation to Nintendo. Meaning this game, before it got out of Japan, got out of PlayStation, which is a feat. Now, originally from that world, she was involved in an unfortunate accident that left her body lifeless.
Ready to launch.
The flip side is, her so the three of them all now share one life force. And this isn't actually meant to be something that can be done within this.
I'm counting on you.
Which is weird because it is seen as a Digimon franchise. But
I'm counting on you.
I think in all the universes here, she's an expert. In the original, she
I'm counting on you.
isn't. Even the person that's trying to catch her in the Giga Company, which holds all of the wireless communication on the planet, has a hard time finding her in his own server and has to send a white raven to chase her. But this doesn't answer why the hell she's everywhere. And that's simply, she doesn't have a physical body. She's a purely digital entity at the moment, and she wants to find basically data that will connect her to a body and let her re-enter the human. Because she's completely digital, she can actually traverse universes. And doing so, she manages to go from Decode to the world of Cybersleuth, and also to the world of Destiny. Three otherwise the unconnected world, and also the proving point that Cybersleuth exists within the Wild Island zone.
Tomorrow, you hear?
Is because she has no physical body, she cannot actually go to the human world. So
Hey,
that's why
let's go home.
never see her in a human world.
I've got to tell Nori all about this. Let's come back tomorrow, and let's bring in... You'd better.
So this week, Damon asked us to talk about Mirai Mikagura and the unique position she holds.
Agent, there's no... And Shinjuku is where the worldwide calamity began. It's hard to believe these two facts could be completely unrelated. Just think, ever since you met this girl, the very principles of time itself have been turned on their head. Inori Misono and Digimon. From this moment forward, they're to be recognized as Class A anomalies. In other words, a subject of our investigation. I expect you to make every effort to find out all you can about them. Don't miss a single detail. I'm counting on you.
Where is our dad, by the way? I'm so tired. Dr. Yuki, he seems a lot to know about my adoptive father.
What are you talking about?
Wait a minute, guys. Adoptive father. If we're not his real kid, can we be a Digimon? I would just uninstall at that point if we're actually a Digimon. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
Dr. Yuki is an anime character.
What?
He's from a series I always love, Agent Alpha.
Wait. What?
What's wrong? Let's change. I provided wishes. Dr. Yuki of Respect would never.
Where is our dad, by the way? I'm so tired. Dr. Yuki, he seems a lot to know about my adoptive father.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is church over there. Trust me, I don't think you know what we're doing, bro. Even wearing babies and stuff. What? Yes, man. What do you expect me to look like? I mean, where's your makeup? You don't even look funny. Tell me a joke right now. Ain't nothing funny about what I'm gonna do to you. You know you don't have to be that man, right? You still have a funny look, bro. Don't give me the word to be dead. So what did you take from you, huh? What makes you different? What did you lose? Mercy. I forgot what Joker's paying you. But maybe you paid up. No, bro.
So yeah, we've gotta go. You too, Nori. Sounds like you had a blast. Sure, I'll go to Shinjuku Park with you. What time did you agree to meet your friends? Time? I don't know. But I'm sure they're there already. They might leave if we don't hurry. Come on, let's go. Oh, hey there, Agent. You're coming too, right? You said you would yesterday, remember? He's been like this all morning. I wouldn't feel comfortable letting him go off alone. I'd like to go alone too.
And months struggling to break through the veil just to get stuck listening to Deep Winchester. Self-pity session.
Kevin.
See me?
Take it easy, Kevin. You might not hold this one for too long.
I had a feeling you'd say that,
Stuck
Agent.
inside the veil.
You really are a good
It's
person.
crowded in the veil.
Woohoo!
Right,
Come on,
she said she
let's
saw
go,
Golem
guys.
just a week ago. Alive. You say you want to make it right. This is how.
It's true.
We have to get out of here before it comes back. Kill me.
We're saving you for someone else. Really? What's worse?
I was just trying.
Yeah.
Well,
She's alive. She's here.
did she know? Hey, Mom.
You see that?
What saved John Cena's career in the beginning of it is rapping about hot wiring Undertaker's motorcycle. I'm just saying. Hey, Gina, you are a sidekick, not an MC. You need to just accept that. What you be talking to, little boy? I will blast the whole deal's stomach. I don't even like Goku ass. I ain't no damn sidekick. I fight for me and only me. Who the fuck put you in charge of this speed? Yeah, really though, who put you in charge? Shut the fuck up. What are you, a main side character? Oh, confused ass. Don't know if you want to be an MC or a side character. What are you? You definitely ain't an MC. I am the main character, bitch. The whole family like me way better than Gold. And why the fuck you don't talk to the green haired motherfucker over there? Put your finger in my face one more time and I will slice you the fuck up. And I put that on Luffy. And much like you, the whole fan base like me way better than the MC. And why the fuck we arguing with each other anyway? Why we not getting on Sasuke ass? You telling us what we are? What the fuck does that make you? Oh, me? Oh, I'm like the main villain, but like turn good, like antagonist, turn protagonist. I'm not really like an MC or a side character. I'm the exception. Man, you a bitch. Gina, you are a...
Let's rate some anime villains based on pure style. First up, Griffith. The ethereal armor and flowing cape create a classic angelic look that masterfully hides his demonic nature. It's a solid 9/10. Next, Doflamingo. Flamboyant, confident, and utterly unique, his iconic pink feather coat creates an unforgettable silhouette. A perfect 10. Finally, Sukuna. His style is simple, but the menace is all in the details. The facial markings and casual posture just scream power. He gets an 8/10. Which stylish villain is your favorite? Let's rate some anime villains based on pure style. First up, Griffith. The ethereal armor and flowing cape create a classic angelic look that masterfully hides his demonic nature. It's a guys, the Mount Rushmore of the shittiest superpowers known to man. The members are Spray Bottle Head, Long Egg, Arm Fall Off Boy, and make room for the color kid. Change the color of stuff. My power's trash. You're just an idiot. Excuse me? Think about it. Imagine you change the color of a villain's red blood cells to white blood cells. Oh, the color of kryptonite to green or gold? Oh, I see now. Okay. I just gotta be a little smart with what I choose to do. If you really want to be evil, color of the sun. Damn! I know about that. That's awesome. What? Just trade them, don't maybe. But anyways,
wow.
The fourth member of the shitty superpower Mount Rushmore is, hey guys, what's going on? Out the sun. Not because the powers itself are bad, but the cosmic trauma. You know, responsibility, everything. My powers made me carry the burden of others. So, with that further ado, the last member of the people it's me. Bailey Hopkins. Weren't you an X-Men? Oh, yeah, but my power still sucks. What is it? Self-destruction. Oh my god, I have good power. What is up with that only once? So, I get up there? Nah, you know what? Fuck you guys! Welcome guys to the Mount Rushmore of the shittiest superpowers known to man. The members are Spray Bottle Head, Long Egg, Arm Fall Off Boy, and make room for the color kid. What? But all I can do is change the color of stuff. My power's trash. You're just an idiot. Excuse me? Think about it. I can change the color of a villain's red blood cells to white blood cells. Oh, into green or gold.
Wow.
I see now. Okay. I just gotta be a little smart with what I choose to do. All right. If you really want to be color of the sun. Damn.
Wow.
Did we just trade them? Maybe. But anyways, the fourth member of the shittiest superpower Mount Rushmore is, hey guys, what's going on?
8 most shocking confessions made by WWE wrestlers after they left the WWE. Part 1. 8. Alex Riley. John Cena buried me. Riley insists a private backstage incident with John Cena completely derailed his push. He never revealed details, but maintains Cena was responsible for his career collapse. 7. Darren Young fired right after a WWE promo event. Young says he was released just hours after doing a promotional appearance for the LA Clippers. He later criticized WWE management, claiming NXT talents constantly fear the company will sabotage their careers. 6. Ryback WWE never apologized to Tyson Kidd. Ryback blasted WWE for ignoring Tyson Kidd's near-fatal neck injury from Samoa Joe's muscle buster. He also complained about low pay and the company's treatment of mid-card talent. 5. Simon Gotch. Life was miserable in WWE. Gotch described his time in WWE as miserable, saying the environment treated him creatively. It felt like a relief, and he immediately focused on rebuilding himself on the indie scene. 4. Sami Callihan. Leaving WWE has saved his career. Callahan and Solomon Crowe said he felt like a shell of himself in NXT, constantly walking on eggshells. After requesting his release, his career exploded in Lucha Underground, Impact, and NJPW. 3. Adam Rose. Wellness policy is a joke. Suspended for using heroin. Prescribed ADHD medication he claims WWE already knew about. Rose called the wellness policy a joke before requesting his release. 2. Cameron. I got fired at the worst time. Cameron said she was released right after a painful breakup, turning it into both a financial and emotional crisis. She stressed that fans wrongly assume all WWE talents are wealthy. 1. Alberto Del Rio. Newcomers are underpaid. Del Rio stated WWE pays many newcomers less than Impact or Lucha Underground, relying on the WWE dream to justify low salaries. 8 most shocking confessions made by WWE wrestlers after they left the WWE. Part 1. 8. Alex Riley. John Cena buried me. Riley insists a private backstage incident with John Cena completely derailed his push. He never revealed details, but maintains Cena was responsible for his career collapse. 7. Darren Young fired right after a WWE promo event. Young says he was released just hours after doing a promotional appearance for the LA Clippers. He later criticized WWE management, claiming NXT talents constantly fear the company will sabotage their careers. 6. Ryback WWE never apologized to Tyson Kidd. Ryback blasted WWE for ignoring Tyson Kidd's near-fatal neck injury from Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster. He also complained about low pay and the company's treatment of mid-card talent. 5. Simon Gotch. Life was miserable in WWE. Gotch described his time in WWE as miserable, saying the environment drained him creatively. Getting released felt like a relief, and he immediately focused on rebuilding himself on the indie scene. 4. Sami Callihan. Leaving WWE saved his career. Callahan, then Solomon Crowe, said he felt like a shell of himself in NXT, constantly walking on eggshells. After requesting his release, his career exploded in Lucha Underground, Impact, and NJPW. 3. Adam Rose. The wellness policy is a joke. Suspended for using Adderall, prescribed ADHD medication he claims WWE already knew about. Rose called the wellness policy a joke for requesting his release. 2. I got fired at the worst time. Cameron said she was released right after a painful breakup, turning it into both a financial and emotional crisis. She stressed that fans wrongly assume all WWE talent.
You were saved from outworld straits for this.
It suits me to serve Sean.
Your low self-esteem comes, Scarlet.
It's your life.
Blood and thunder, not all people.
Sean, listen.
Trust him, Scarlet.
No. Still twisting.
No, it overpowers you.
Stop.
Guys, just look at this shit.
Go!
You'll be here. I want to right now. I want Batman here right now. How much did they pay to fight him again?
Very
I
kind.
got paid $1 billion. So where's he at? Show me for it. That's the $1 billion. $1 billion. For free, bro. You try like you got that much stronger. You got that much bigger, stronger. Come on now. Oh, well, no, yeah, you definitely don't get bigger. We all do. How much bigger and stronger did he really get? There's somebody looking for me? Huh? Not anybody looking for you, my boy? Wrong. So like I was saying, is that's it? What you talking about?
I'm Batman.
That's not Batman. I told you he got bigger. That is not Batman.
Hey, come on, hold the fuck.
No, that must be Payne or somebody. That looked like Sullivan Grant. Bro, what happened to the $1 billion? I thought it was worth it. That's not even his logo. What is that design? Oh, that's an axe. What did you just say to me? What do you mean? Like, there's a handle and that big part is an axe and he can take it out and yeah. And what? Is he chopping people up?
I'm gonna...
Where he at?
What Power Rangers team do you think would win in the battle of the Mystic Force faced off against ninjas? And I'd say this one gets a while. Obviously, one of these teams has elemental powers, whereas the other has legit magic, which can basically take a front hit from anything. Mystic Force doesn't defend it well. These Rangers aren't just enhanced, they're magical conduits with spellcasting, teleportation, and giant fire magic and shields that can deflect energy. Legend Mode alone boosts them in what most Rangers can handle. This becomes a classic fight, strategy versus raw power. They just try to land the first kick strike with fast combos, double team attacks, and elemental power. But Mystic Force can take hits that would drop full Power Rangers. Return with a magical blitz that hits like a missile. The moment Mystic Force starts using magic like Nick's Fire Burst, Vita's Vortex spells, or Xandar's Growth Magic, the tide completely shifts. Ninja has some of the coolest powers, but I don't think they have the battle knowledge for essentially magic. So in the end, I think Mystic Force wins, but not because they're faster. I just think their power ceiling is way higher. We know Power Ranger teams I should battle up next. What Power Rangers team do you think would win in the battle if Mystic Force faced off against Ninja Storm? And I would say this one gets a little wild. Obviously, one of these teams has elemental powers, whereas the other has legit magic, which can basically take a front hit from anything. Mystic Force doesn't defend, it overwhelms. These Rangers aren't just enhanced, they're magical conduits with spellcasting, teleportation, and giant form magic and shields that can deflect energy. Legend mode alone boosts them past what most rangers can use. This becomes a classic fight, strategy versus raw power. And just one first strength, fast combos, double team attacks, Rangers return to the main. Here it comes! The moment you start using magic like Nick's Fireburst, Venus Vortex spells, or Xandar's growth magic, the tide completely shifts. Storm has some of the coolest powers, but I don't think they have the battle knowledge, or essentially.
Ric Flair slapped Michaels again and again because Michaels had said something disturbing. A few weeks ago, McMahon had threatened Flair that the next match he lost would be his last. So Flair won against every single opponent he faced and finally challenged Shawn Michaels to face him at WrestleMania, where Michaels promised he would retire Flair like an old dog that needed to be put down. So at the event, Michaels slapped Flair and looked him out of the ring, went for a moonsault, crashed into a table, and came back with an elbow to the up the back, but hesitated, so Flair the figure 4 as Michaels hit a surprise super kick, but Flair kicked out, so Michaels had speaking of emotion. To go, Flair took him against Michaels in tears and said sorry, hit an explosive super kick, picking up the win and ending Flair's career. Ric Flair slapped Michaels again and again because Michaels had said something disturbing.
Wait us, let get stronger.
You disappoint me, Alex Murphy.
You so
Face facts fighting. Choice.
Your intelligence extinguish your soul. Despite my best efforts,
Super Shocker!
One high-five directors. Others, Cletus.
Blockbuster, this is all your fault! Wow, what do you do? Netflix just bought for me! Fuck is that? Let me show you something. This is Netflix's logo.
Here it
And now
comes!
this is HBO Max's logo. It's the same picture. You realize that this will be the end of cinema as we know it, right? Yes, cinema's over. Nobody want to go to a movie theater anymore. You see what you did, Blockbuster? You see what you did? Once again, I don't understand. This is my fault, but 5 years ago. So Blockbuster, this can all be yours for $50 million. Movies Let me tell you something. In 25 years, no one is even gonna know who the fuck you are, Netflix. You are irrelevant. I will not immediately regret this decision. Well, I was right. I didn't immediately regret it. Over time, for years, I was like, oh, you stupid bitch, why? You realize people are never gonna leave their house now, right? I mean, that was probably always gonna happen. Make it a Blockbuster night. Intro coming to Nashville, Tennessee, December 17th. With the link in my bio, bigger to get set. Wow, what do you do? Let's just how can you want this to do with me? Bitch, let me show you something right quick. This is Netflix's logo. And now this.
So who thinks gonna be a new villain in KFD 5? Well, we had 2 mammals, 1 bird, and 1 reptile, so maybe we'll get an amphibian or something. Like a frog. You think they'll make a frog the villain? They're intimidating. Even peacocks, which didn't exist. Actually, it's kinda gonna work.
So.
Oh, he does he? You got a little something on your face right there. Oh, I do? Yeah, it's like right there. Just stand there and I'll get it for you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Just like stand right there and... Uh-oh, I knew it. Here she go doing the most again. How'd you know it was me? Oh, please. Shem will never take accountability for anything. That's a lie, see? We told you you're not allowed in these meetings. I just want to discuss possible villains for the big movie like the rest of you. We don't need, nor did we ask for your opinion. Why? I have an idea of what you mean. I swear if it's not a reptile. No, not a reptile, okay? It's human.
I'm sorry. Everyone!
Get out, bro. Remember the first time
Okay.
You're
tried to kill me.
Trying to recruit us.
Up between us.
Is that a proposal?
A solemn vow. You've been hard. Us.
There is no wrong to come.
It's not your place.
I knew you had potential, kid.
Then you agree with Raiden's choice?
Easily his decision. Remember the first.
How many times have they defeated Jack Frost, the Living Stone Edge? In the first movie, they do the most logical thing. They try to melt him and take him to an oven, but it doesn't work. They melt his face and crash him. Finally, they defeat him by throwing him into some antifreeze and killing him. In the second movie, they try to do the same thing, melt him. But his weak point was bananas, and they shoot a banana arrow in his head and Jack Frost explodes. It's for sure. Jack Frost will never return. M. How many times have...
Great.
How strange. They told me they'd be playing around here. I came here to... Yeah, see, Ari... Yeah, but now it's...
Wow. Great.
You don't belong here.
Preach into the choir, friend.
Get off my... Seriously, who are you? Time to show you what's made of.
Your quiver's only full.
Seems only sporting I give you a chance.
Wow.
Jeez, running.
You don't belong here.
Preach into the choir, friend.
Get off my earth. Seriously, who are you?
No.
Show you what's made of.
Quiver's only full.
Seems only sporting I give you a chance.
Jeez, running.
You don't belong here.
Preach into the choir, friend.
Get off my earth. Seriously, who are you? Time to show you what's made of.
Quiver's only full.
Seems only sporting I give you a chance.
Jeez, running. Your soulless monkey. Your soulless monkey. What is this supposed to be? A bitch. Stop it. But on my skin.
You should join hands across time lines. Too bad.
Hey,
none of
Agent!
us can be
The
trusted.
footprints lead through that door.
Everybody calm down, calm down. For starters,
What's
I am the
this
strongest telepath, so technically since I fuck with the mind, that should mean I'm the strongest. No. We're talking destructive capabilities.
This is bad,
You're
then.
nowhere near
Really
me,
bad.
okay?
What if those kids run into some flying Digimon down there? That's definitely a scary thought. If they went in there, we'd better get them out fast.
What? Actual hell, like the place of eternal damnation? Yeah, and that's not even my greatest feat. Like, freezing stuff is nowhere near me like me. Remember the days? Yeah. I think I'm easily destroyed. Wanda, you're absolutely fun compared to me with the Phoenix Force. You weren't even born with the Phoenix Force. Damn near every run I was chosen by the Phoenix Force, so I'm the strongest. Start telling that to my 18 other personalities with each of their own unique Omega level ability. But, yeah, I can literally manifest any power that we want. Am I late? Yo, Franklin, this is the strongest power. I know. Gee, oh really? Check again. Huh? Okay. Yo. Wait! What the fuck? Just alter it. So, Jimmy. Yeah. Next time you want to talk about the strongest mutants, make sure you answer to me first. Everybody come I'll play my part.
Ready to launch.
This is gonna get what you paid for. Get your damn hands off. Get your hands off. What's necessary, brother? To put it in its place. Take it, Johnny. I don't see that bridge. I will hurt you. Into my Johnny. So, you have one to That's no special effect. Indeed, Johnny Cage. You're okay. You're okay. Stay with me. We're nearly there. Here we go. Get you warm. Gotta hold on.
Hang in there, little guy. Just a few more minutes. Get him going. Not yet, buddy.
Buddy, go.
Get out of tank. Look at everybody. So well.
Yes.
Get head home now. Want to stay with me?
I'm sorry. Everyone,
Mr. Buddy, where are you? Hey! Really had to worry, little guy. It's my fault for forgetting to latch the gate.
Look, buddy's back. Let's get together.
You're okay.
I was a mystical creature.
You don't talk enough about how Teen Titans Robin was an all-time crash out. Had spotted the boys. They had spotted a fleeing lion, and so they chased after them. The lion wanted to make himself believe that he was being brave, that he was leading the men away from his friends in order to save them. But all of that was a lie. Lion soiled himself when the blood men reached him on horseback. They were creatures of death, covered in blood from head to die, adorned in bones and flesh of their victim. And Lion knew it was all over when the men chasing him hurled their nets at him. Lion fell to the ground at immense speed, and in that moment, Lion tells us that he wishes the blood men would have killed him there and then. He wishes his life had ended right there, or even a few hours ago at the hands of the river monster, but that never happened, and he blames his fate on Sun. Like a corpse, Lion was dragged back to the massacre of his tribe by the blood men on horseback, and when he reached that land where he grew up, he realized that all things his father had told him about these people was true. The site was a massacre. Every hut was up in flames, and every corpse on the ground wasn't whole. Every blood man was driven by fury, and amidst all of this was their leader and a monument to their massacre. The monument was a tripod of sorts with makeshift sails to keep the top of it spinning, and adorning all of the corners were the decapitated heads of their latest victims. Their leader, a man wearing the skull of some poor victim from his past, was busy busy unearthing 5 skulls from a bag made from human leather. The skulls had their tops bashed open, and inside were bodily fluids, whose origins Lion didn't dare dream of. As Lion stood there, affixed to the ground by his never-ending fear, his mind began to put things together, and he realized that the Bloodmen had only spared the youngest of the tribe. Everyone else had been killed, and just like his father had told him about the monument he found back in his day, the leader was creating a new one, just like the description right in front of his eyes. At first, Lion thought that the white translucent liquid in the skull that was being painted over the decapitated heads on the monument by their leader was grease, but as Lion continued to watch, he finally realized the horrifying truth. The leader covered each head meticulously in the bodily fluids, and once that was done, he moved to the other skull, which contained deep red, congealed and sticky blood. It was no ordinary blood, as Lion would later come to know. This was a woman's moon blood, and once again, every inch of the decapitated heads was covered in it. And once that was done, the heads were covered in fresh fat they procured from Sun's open belly right in front of Lion's eyes. The leader then ordered his men to gather up and leave, and as they left the site and dragged Lion along with them, he turned back to look at the land he called home one last time, only to see the monument they had just created spinning in the wind, spraying the horrifying fluids into the air, waiting to be found by a wayward man just like his father. At that moment, Lion envied the dead because for them it was all over, but for the infants and Lion and his friends, this was just the start. Lion was dragged through the desert for days, and each waking hour his mind was riddled with questions he could never answer. Where were they taking him? Why was he alive? Were his friends okay? What would they do to the infants? What was their goal? Why were they doing this? These questions haunted him. Find out why they his eyes to the coast on the never-ending sea, whose grandiosity was somehow overshadowed once again by these monsters he knew as the men. These men, boats bigger than Lion could have ever imagined, boats that reminded him of all the sea monsters he had heard about from his elders. Their cargo was beasts, adults, and children, and each adult aboard each vessel was missing their legs and arms. These ships were equivalent to the massive hollows wherever the blood was inside to be made from wood, bones, and skin. These vessels were equivalent to their legs, testament to what was to be and what would become. Lion and his friends were trapped in small cages, while the young children were forced into the decks. As Lion and his friends watched, they soon realized why they had been captured. It was because they had been judged worthy for something far more terrible. The Bloodmen had realized that the 4 of them were warriors, and they had thus been sentenced to a warrior's fate. Them bringing back the river monster to their tribe was all the Bloodmen needed to know to come to the conclusion that these kids could fight. As Lion watches the next few steps from his cage, we see what purpose to the blind adults with no legs aboard the ship serve. They're mere slaves designated to row these vessels to wherever their masters command. They don't have legs because they don't need to walk, and they don't have eyes because they don't need to see. The Bloodmen have trained and conditioned these adults to start rowing when they hear the screaming of a man who is rhythmically lashed again and again. And when the boats start moving, Lion knows that the Bloodmen are taking him and his friends back to their home camp. Across the seas, away from the land he knew, they are taking him to hell. Washington, meanwhile, finishes reading the file, and though it doesn't contain information about the cure, he continues to lead on the men accompanying him by telling them that the file does contain information about Nelson's bunker. He is, of course, lying to them by promising a cure through Nelson's findings. To him, this isn't about finding a cure. To him, this is about knowing the truth. He tells the men accompanying him that they should be able to find more information in Nelson's bunker, and as they leave, we see that the men have no clue about Washington's true intentions. Crossed Badlands, Homo Tortor, issue number 76, The Only Wrong Restraint. Things could always be worse. That's a lie you learn to tell yourself every time you stumble upon something horrid, every time you walk the path of the crossed and find what they left behind. Such is the case with Washington and his party right now. They have stumbled upon what used to be a crossed camp. the site of one of their appalling stops, which is now a monument and a testament of what they're capable of. A man tied and gagged to a tree branch with evidence of abuse tattooed all over his skin, and the remnants of a resolute soldier who blew his own brains out before the cross got to him. Such is the evidence of bravery in this new world. Such is the testament to your mettle, the legacy left behind by most humans in this new, brutal, inhuman, and vicious world is the evidence of them taking their own lives. The only way.
Fala galera, tudo bem com vocês? E hoje a gente vai mais uma vez conversar sobre a Mirei. Já fiz vídeo sobre ela no passado, porque eu acredito que ela seja um dos personagens mais importantes da história da franquia Digimon, né? Conectando universos e tudo mais. E por que a gente vai falar sobre ela? Porque foi revelado que a Mirei, a mesma Mirei, aparentemente vai aparecer em Digimon Story Time Stranger. Então, para aqueles que jogaram Cyber Sleuth, sabem que a Mirei aparece lá e ela é muito importante, inclusive, né, ela ajuda você, trabalha no laboratório, tem Digimon extremamente poderoso. Mas, por que a Mirei é tão importante? Porque ela está aparecendo em universos diferentes. Porque essa Mirei que foi revelada para o Time Stranger é diferente, de certa forma, da Mirei que a gente já conhece. Então, eu vou explicar para vocês, basicamente, contando a história original dela. Isso é muito importante, porque muitas pessoas que vão jogar o Time Stranger, que jogaram Cyber Sleuth e tudo mais, não sabem qual é a origem da Mirei. Porque a Mirei não apareceu só nesses jogos. Ela já apareceu na série Digimon World também. Então, por exemplo, se você jogar Digimon World Next Order, você vai ver que a Mirei aparece lá também, mesmo que a série de jogos Digimon World seja aparentemente em um outro universo diferente. Então, como que essas coisas funcionam? Por que a Mirei está aparecendo tanto assim? Como assim o universo e tudo mais? Acontece, galera, que muito tempo atrás, em um jogo chamado Digimon World Redigitize, tem também o Redigitize Decode, que seria a versão mais completa do jogo, a gente teve toda uma história. Essa história vai estar passando em vídeo atrás aí pra vocês, né, um certo vídeo que apareceu pra gente na versão Decode do jogo, aparentemente, e ele vai ficar passando pra vocês. Prestem atenção. O que acontece?
What is up, Digimon fans? Today, I'm going to bring you guys 5 tips to help you become the best tamers possible in Digimon Story Time Stranger. We're just going to kick things off and get right into it and talk about converting and digivolving as soon as you hit the required amount. You need to be concerned with converting Digimon as soon as you hit this max number, which is 200. If you go over this number, you're basically just wasting resources. So as soon as you hit max, what you need to do is just grab one of these bad boys up. So we're going to craft a Gazimon right now. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And this just gives you a main Digimon. This is the equivalent of catching Digimon in this game. And you need to be doing this basically after every 2 or 3 battles. Whenever it says you hit that 200 mark, convert one of these bad boys right away. It's less time to convert things that are like, you know, in training stages or rookies. It's going to take a lot more to convert things like this Snymon that's a champion level, but you want to always be on top of going this mode at the end of like every 2 or 3 battles. You know, I would say every 3 or 4 battles I'm converting something if I'm just grinding. And you can press the A button to go through it, but you want to be going through and converting Digimon as, you know, as much as possible. And another thing I want to talk about is also digivolving as much as possible, because the same rule kind of applies. If you have something like, you know, this Motomon right here, it's level 17. I've had it for a while just to make this video here, but it's like an in-training mon. And, you know, it could have digivolved into any of these a while ago, and then these guys could have been building levels and then getting ready to go up to specific champions. It's basically just kind of hard-capped and wasting experience in this in-training mode. So you want to just, like, get like a 2nd or 3rd or 4th Wormmon or Tentamon or Shumon. Let's get a Wormmon right here. And now it's going to reset and be level 1 at Wormmon. But now this Wormmon's going to be able to gain experience, and Wormmon's going to be able to, you know, potentially digivolve into some of these other things. So what you want to do is consistently be checking out what Digimon can be evolving, and, you know, try your best to stay away from like leaving things on these in-training stages as much as possible. Again, this is just a different file that I have. That's my extra file from the demo. But, you know, you can be digivolving these and just letting all of the experience stack onto these things. So when you know, load them into other mons later or digivolve into other stuff later, they're passing on, you know, higher forms and more experience. Again, we can just digivolve this guy right here. Just get another Doremon, easy peasy. So make sure to convert those lower stage Digimon and then digivolve them as much as you possibly can. I think that is going to be the biggest tip I have for newer players in Digimon Storytime. But I also have 4 other tips, so let's get into the next one right now. The next tip that I have is actually going to be on the attack triangle and how to hit things for super effective damage, which is very important, especially in boss battles in Digimon Storytime Stranger. What we can do to check out what the attack triangle is go to the system menu. Once we're on the system menu, we can go down to tutorials here. I'm not going to bore you guys, but when you're in battle, you can read all this extra stuff to, learn anything you really want about the game. Or we check out the attributes here. And so these are the different attributes in the game. It's like this in basically every single Digimon game. You basically have vaccines, data, viruses, free, and then variable and unknown aren't as important, but you really only have to learn vaccine, data, and virus, which we're going to talk about when we talk about the attribute compatibility. So you can see, like, vaccines can be viruses, and viruses can be data, datas can be vaccines, and then the others are in their own little, subcategory where they're not really super effective or weak against anything. And I think that's actually pretty important. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into this as well, talking about like elemental types when you use like fire type attacks against, things that are weak against fire. But this is the main thing you really want to log into, especially when you're fighting the boss battles. I know the rare mon boss that we made a guide for the first day the game came out, that is a mon that's like heavily weak against vaccine Digimon. So you got to be stacking a ton of vaccines. So make sure to do a little bit of prep, scout what the bosses you guys are going to be playing up against are going to be weak against. Use the right attribute to punish them correctly. The next tip that I have might seem pretty basic, but it's actually to just pick up every possible thing you ever can find on the ground. There's going to be so many little things on the ground in this game. I really suggest going to this Shinjuku back alley area. You're going to find so many little items, and I know in the demo there was like HP capsules and a bunch of other useful stuff all over the ground, but yeah, pick up everything in this game. It's super rewarding, and just walking around the overworld, you're going to be able to find so many little nuggets, like valuable items and stuff like that. Let's see, there's even stuff over here. So many things to pick up, and the more you pick up, the less you'll have to buy later for a bunch of other stuff like that. So I would really, really recommend, like, whenever you're just running around as fast as you can over here.
So Season 4 has just wrapped up, and by the time this video releases, we'll be into Season 5, which features more trial environments and a new and very cool prime asset, Lilia. Now, I purposely held up on doing a lore video covering all the lore for Season 3, as it wasn't a particularly long season and only lasted 2 videos. That's why I'm lumping 3 and 4 into one video, so thanks for your patience. It's been a wild ride from the start, and we've gone on a very long journey since the days of early access, and even since the announcement of Trials back in 2019. 50 Petty, our last writer, has crafted an incredible narrative and world set in the backdrop of the Cold War and the CIA's mind control experimentation. Before we begin, I will not be doing a rundown of what happened in Seasons 1 and 2, but if you do want a comprehensive rundown of the lore from those seasons, then a link to those videos will be in the description. However, I will be providing context and referring back to things that happened when relevant. We're going to jump in now, so please be aware that from this point on, there will be spoilers for the whole of the Outlast series. Let's begin. One of the first storylines from Season 3 was titled After the Escape, and naturally shows the aftermath of everything that took place at the end of Season 2. It's reported to the board that Murkoff's rising star, Clyde Perry, has been killed in action. For those who don't know, Amelia Collier had gone missing from a trial, and Clyde Perry, the director of historical refinement, basically the guy who plugged any security leaks, was the guy tasked with tracking him down. Months and months of infighting took place at Signala, and this led to fingers being pointed at everyone, particularly between Easterman and Moses Scarfiotti, the guy who designed the trial environments, who clearly fought to enough, would love nothing more than the other to be gotten rid of. Anyway, whilst they were squabbling about security breaches, Amelia was busy. This culminated in a large escape attempt, where hundreds of free agents managed to escape the Signala facility out into the vast Arizona desert. Mike was killed, and not only was Amelia captured, but she was also strung up in the slippery pool to sea, something that senior Murkoff employee Alice Avellanos was eager to see happen. Alice herself has for months been having a secret affair with Murkoff's CIA liaison James Lawler, something that Eastman is fully aware of. An investigation is concluded into Clyde's death, and he will continue to hold his title until they're able to publicly release a suitable cause of death. I imagine that putting chasing down reagents in a CIA-backed torture trauma farm would raise a lot of questions. This, I guess, answers the question as to why his role was held until 1961 on his portrait at the Commass Asylum. An urgent update is put out to all staff, stating that Amelia has been captured and she's currently being interrogated and questioned in order to find out who collaborates. This makes me very nervous for one of the denizens in the sleep room, Noakes, since he was someone that helped her, as we saw in the motion comics. Back in the sleep room, agents are terrified, and this is as Amelia has been strung up, and just as Avianos wanted, she was being made an example. Easterman journals again, and he states that he allowed himself to get flustered. He's referring to his epic meltdown, which has been an escalating behaviour throughout seasons 1 and 2. He likens himself to an artist. He speaks about Clyde being his nasty little bloodhound, and he speaks about Amelia having been strung up in a sleep room. Amelia was of course still alive. Murkoff probably know they can't just kill her straight away, or she'll become a martyr. That's the last thing they want. At the end of season 2, Easterman had his meltdown, and when speaking with Avianos, he starts to become more violent. One document I need to introduce here is this one, The Escape from the Map story. It showcases a reason why Easterman may be from this. It's related to a company called Crest Chemical. Previously we spoke about Dr. Kusamura, the former Unit 731 scientist, who wrote to Dr. Easterman on the 17th of April regarding Crest Chemical, saying that Crest were the ones that inspired the toxic shock trials. It seems that Easterman did in fact authorise the Crest request that Kusamura was talking about, and on the 23rd of April, the day before they caught Amelia, Easterman took one of the Crest concoctions. He reveals it's something called bufotenine, but it's Crest's own formula, and it is distilled from the urine of schizophrenics. Bufotenine has a history of being used to reduce trance states. It's usually derived from bufotoxins, which are found in the glands of different species of toads. It's been used medically in order to simulate psychotic disease states in psychiatric study. Of course, in this case, as just mentioned, it was discovered in the urine of schizophrenics. He becomes it potent and actually starts tripping bulls. Discovers a newfound motivation to stop the bleeding and to find Amelia. Another document we're going to look at is going back to March 1986. That's a topic with Avianos, Clyde was in Buffalo. Remember, prior to his role in historical confinement, Clyde was Murkoff Collections, and he met and interviewed potential prime assets. Anyway, the document's contents are related to Crest Chemical. It mentions a sighting of something known as the Buffalo Miners. Bodies also started piling up around the 40s, and at the time Clyde wrote this letter, the police were busy excavating the Crest estate. The Crest family are quite prominent, therefore influential, and Crest Chemical is a key driver of the local economy. The authorities are sweeping the whole way. Clyde mentions Crest's relationship to Murkoff, so I guess this gives a backstory on Crest. Perhaps Murkoff are helping get rid of the problem the Crest family have. One storyline introduced in season 3, titled New Covenants, made me the most exciting. On the same day that Amelia had been captured, Scarfiotti and Avianos are in a meeting and are discussing how to contain the breach. Scarfiotti asks how long Amelia can live out there, and Easterman says they'll find out, with Avianos saying that they are there for the science. Scarfiotti is slightly taken aback by the brutality of his colleagues, but nonetheless, Easterman says that he thinks she'll survive for a while, given how long she was going to survive inside the hospitals. Scarfiotti calls Amelia Sleep Room Jesus, something that Easterman hints with Murkoff's very own method, discouraging Amelia from ever trying to escape death. Avianos says that Easterman says that it's pretty much confirmed here that Perry has provided them with the perfect scapegoat for Amelia's uprising, as it only is allowed them to escape in the first place. Scarfiotti mumbles something, but Easterman shifts focus onto the So according to a Murkoff memorandum, the route out has now been terminated, and that means no more escaping. Easterman has now shut down all the reagent release and exit controls. No one's getting out until they are better. He wants the reagents to become addicted to the therapy, so much so that they won't want to release, and they will never want to leave it. By giving them more control of their therapy. But back to the meeting. Scarfiotti says that giving the reagents choice over their trial designs will allow them to get lazy. Eastman pushes back, saying that he's merely giving them the rope to hang themselves along with one another. Avianos brings focus back to the reagents and says that they need to find the escaped ones as hundreds managed to get out. Again, Eastman put out the records on reagent 1616. Sullivan, Eastman goes on to state that Noth isn't very far from Sinyala. He's in Albuquerque, as a matter of fact. And Eastman states that he's very susceptible to activation.
Now.
Also, that old Papa Noth is shockingly charismatic. As a result, he's already built up quite a following. Eastman states that Murkoff put this to better use and encourage a sense of mission. To make him a shepherd, Murkoff's lost little sheep. Those of you that have been on this lore journey since Season 1 will remember that Clyde Perry followed Noth after his release from Sinyala and witnessed him claiming he was a human compass whose headings converged to within 40 miles of Sinyala. But let me take you back to Outlast 2. Right, we know from Outlast 2 that Sullivan Noth was a shoe salesman for a bit, until he got a bit grumpy with a female customer, with debts about to his life going nowhere. Noth listened to a preacher on the radio when he disagreed with the parts of the message regarding supplication. Then, turning on the radio, Noth claimed to have heard a message hidden in the static from God to him, which stated that he needed a brave new prophet to carry his message. He would preach on the streets. Now, it's probably at this point that Eastman and Murkoff enacted their activation of Noth, as he'd already gotten his glut of followers at this point. His followers then occupied a ranch owned by a wealthy woman named Lydia Deegan, at which point he wrote his gospel, the Gospel of Noth, and he encouraged the women of his cult to read regularly, with him getting involved himself. This wasn't until his cult fled from the ranch after police turned up to raid it, he was saved also. They fled into the desert, but his church had lost everything. He took inspiration from Moses and Abraham and climbed a mountain. Slitting open his eyeball, had a vision of his church, which was a town deep in the desert. After driving off the tribes that were living on the land, the testament of the new Ezekiel was then established in 1971 in the town of Temple Gate, and as we know, the events of Outlast 2 then took place in 2013. But the length of time Noth and his followers were in the wilderness is unknown. This likely leads to Murkoff using the towers outside the facility to keep Noth and his followers under control. The fact that reagents that escaped could be kept under the charismatic sway of Noth and then joining his cult at Temple Gate is an exciting development. We're interested to see how this storyline develops further. But let's go back to Sinyala and discuss Henrietta, because, as mentioned, Murkoff had some special plans for her. Again, for those of you unaware who Henrietta Grubbs is, she's a former reagent who formed a romantic relationship with Doris Ritter, another of the Sleep Room's denizens. Doris is someone who doesn't take part in the trials anymore thanks to a deal she has with the guards there at Sinyala, which may or may not involve blackmail. It's not currently known what that arrangement is. Henrietta was badly injured in a trial and was turned into a heavy X-pop through painful limb-lengthening therapy. But she didn't fall under the charismatic sway of the Prime Assets like the General X-pop do. Was made by Leland Coyle, being disposed of in the sewers where the reagents encountered her during the escape attempt. After Henrietta was captured, she was fitted with fixators, which were screwed into the bone. These gave some support to stop her bones from growing even more, which of course was a side effect of hormone therapy that she was subjected to. Certain organs have grown bigger, and these are visible. She also had a broadcast receiver installed in her headpiece, and through this,